Money Info, brought to you by Princeton Research. With Mike King in Las Vegas, Charles Moskowitz in Boston, Dave Rogers, someplace floating around Virginia. Well, maybe floating is not exactly a good choice of words after this past weekend. And good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, sir. How are you?
Very good, Greg. Very good.
So how are things in Las Vegas?
And just warm, getting warmer and warmer.
Yeah, yeah. That's what's going to happen next couple months. And
yeah.
Yep.
But we still have great weather.
Yep.
I mean, it only gets warm around later in the morning.
Yep.
But if you go to the beautiful Princeton Research website, you can see Dave Rogers' fantastic work. It really looks beautiful.
Yeah, Dave, you have, hats off to you, man. You have done a great job of reworking that website. It is, it's really stellar. PrincetonResearch.com. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We just did we're doing an update on the featured investments. It's up at the Stocks to Watch tab. If you're up at the top there, that's it outlines the featured investments we have. Some of the companies that have been on the show before, some of the other companies we've done research reports for. And we're actually going to redo that page today and lay it all out in a table so it's all near the top so people can have quick, easy access to the 8 or 9 companies that we're featuring at one time. Those companies include Target Energy, which has been on the show before, Southern ITS International, which has been on the show about a month ago, Zinergy, which we did a research report for, and RMS Medical Products, which is going to be on the show today, and also Texas Gulf Energy, as well as the famous Healthy and Tasty Brands, also known as Grill It.
Yes. Yeah. Now, Mike, did they officially make that name change? I know that Ghazi was talking about it.
I don't know specifically if they made that name change. I don't know. But
yeah, it takes a while. They have to file for it, right? They have to file for it with SEC.
Yeah,
they might change their symbol. It takes time and money.
Oh.
No, I think it takes 65 days. It takes time, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I didn't even think about that.
They're still using the Grill It GRLT symbol.
Yeah, well, you know, hi, Charles. You know, I didn't even think about, sure, you've got to change the stock symbols and all. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
And they give you a new QSIP number. I mean,
yeah.
Kind of a pain.
Yeah, it is. Well,
but it does better represent what they do.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's the future for them. I think it's just outrageous. I really do. Speaking of pain, how about Bayer buying Merck's consumer unit for $14.2 billion buckos? Not bad, huh?
Nice round number.
Yeah.
Gotta be quick with the money.
Oh, man. Yeah, it is a nice round number, Mike. Holy smokes, $14.2 billion. Now, you know, what amazes me is watching all this stuff, because what was it, Novartis just the other day seemed to, you know, move some of its reshuffling, and you know, it's kind of, I guess, what, either less profitable or whatever units to other companies, you know, like Lilly and GlaxoSmithKline and stuff like that. So it's been a very, very busy pharmaceutical couple weeks, that's for sure. And Charles, what shoes do you use for racquetball? What brand? You're probably a New Balance guy.
No, absolutely not.
Really?
I use either Reebok or Nike, and the last ones that I bought at an outlet mall, so I can't remember which it is. I have a feeling they're Nike.
Okay,
because a lot of these guys do not make a shoe with a gum sole, and that's what you need for
racquetball
being on the court.
Yeah,
like being on the court and and not scuffing it.
I never thought about that, but yeah, you're right. You're right. So, Mike, what do you work out in? What shoes?
Or the Skechers. You know the Skechers?
Skechers. Okay,
I'm
yeah.
a big Skechers
You're
fan.
a Skechers guy, really?
And when you're lifting heavy weights, especially when you're doing the clean, and when you're trying to pick up heavy weights off the floor, you almost fall over with it. You almost fall over with the Skechers. It's hard to keep your balance.
Yeah.
But they feel real good when you're...
Okay. Well, Adidas, one of the original, I guess, big shoemakers, they're moaning and groaning a little bit. Apparently, they're not thinking the World Cup is going to do what they thought it would, and to make matters worse, and I didn't even realize that Adidas had bought TaylorMade, the golf manufacturer, but the golf manufacturer is just slumping like the dickens over in Europe. So they're looking at...
And they lost the Notre Dame contract. They had like 12 years with Notre Dame football.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, Notre Dame football switched to...
Wow.
They also made a couple of very overpriced acquisitions in the last 10 years.
Adidas did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, they bought some names that are, kind of also-rans, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Okay.
They bought, I think, I'm not sure that this is the name, but it'll give you an idea as to what I mean by an also-ran. I think they bought K-Swiss.
Whoa, out of Los
When was
Angeles.
the last time you saw K-Swiss shoes
Well,
in a Foot Locker?
L.A. I mean, it started in Los Angeles. Yeah, wow. Yeah.
So I think that, they're hurting in general because, as you say, the golf is an issue, but they also kind of overpaid for a bunch of stuff that just has not, I mean, it's almost like a teen retailer where if you mess up and you have the wrong inventory, you end up clearancing it.
Yeah.
And that, that crushes your margins.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Well, and this morning, AIG announced some property casualty claim costs, and that their profits will decline by 27%. Ouch.
Yeah.
Now, they still have an income of $1.6 billion, so it's like it's hard to shed a tear for them, but yeah.
And actually, that stock has done very well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's down a couple of dollars here. Actually, it's not down much. It was down overnight, I noticed, because they brought the news yesterday, and the stock had closed at around, 52 and high change, and this morning it's trading in the 51 and a half area.
Mm-hmm.
It's down, but the stock just ran in the last 15 days, ran from 49 and change to almost 53, 52.90, 53.30 was yesterday's high. So this little pullback is not too dramatic.
Well, and our dear friends at Herbalife, oh man, the feds are really going after these guys, and obviously Herbalife has got to disclose the 550,000 U.S. distributors and prove that they're actually taking the protein shakes and the vitamins themselves as consumers, or else the companies...
Which is always the problem with a multi-level marketing.
Yeah, that's very true. And we have to...
I mean, I'm not saying that the products aren't good. I'm just saying that when you have to bring in people in order to get anything downstream, it's not as easy as discount buying what you're going to use yourself.
Yeah. And, of course, you guys are all energy guys. So, I mean, you're all pretty much experts when it comes to oil and gas and stuff like that. It is Market Watch has got a dear old siren watch here on 5 energy companies that are takeover targets. One is First Energy of New York. The other is Entergy, which is Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, and Mississippi. PPL Corporation, which is in Pennsylvania and Kentucky. And Charles's old favorite from dear old friends in Frisco, California, PG&E, which is in Northern California. Of course, I didn't even know they had power in Northern California. Spoken like a true Southern Californian. And then Public Service Enterprise out of Jersey. And none of these companies have a stellar balance sheet, but these supposedly are going to be 5 takeover targets in the energy world. It's kind of intriguing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course they all have nuclear energy too, which is also intriguing. But, yeah, kind of interesting. Now, let's get to medical stuff, guys. I received an email from a company called TerraTech. Have you heard of them?
Yeah. No.
Medicinal marijuana. And this is a guy that used to be, this is a great story. He is the CEO of this company. And he's been on in the Huffington Post and Bloomberg and stuff. And this guy, his name is Derek Peterson, used to be at Morgan Stanley, and he made very good money at Morgan Stanley. It was around $400,000 a year. But he's now making $18 million a year selling grass.
Cool.
Yeah, what are the margins on that? But anyway, yeah, he's part of this whole new, and actually he is trying to lobby the state of Florida to legalize medicinal marijuana. But I thought that was rather amusing that, the numbers are just ridiculous, in Colorado. They are selling stuff like crazy there. I don't know.
That they are.
I don't know. It's certainly
Isn't TerraTech involved in growing methods using various different housing installations? Growing them indoors?
Yeah, I think
Isn't that what they do?
Hydroponics.
Yeah, it is. It's hydroponics. Yeah, but it's amazing. What I thought was very interesting was looking at state balance sheets. And have you seen where, like, Colorado, which was going to be in debt, severely in debt, is now going to make a profit this year because of its marijuana taxes? So it's like, oh my goodness, you got to be kidding. But that's I guess is that another form of income? I guess one way or the other.
Yeah. And it's been very disruptive to the people who try and bring it in, like from Mexico. I mean, you're seeing them switch to much heavier drugs that are cheaper, but are actually, worse for you. Things like heroin, because, the rest of the company doesn't have access to it. The prices, for these guys, it's just like anything else. When you privatize it, and you move away from regulation,
Sure.
That's what happens.
Yeah. Well, and you start thinking about this. If of course the problem is, even though Colorado did what it did, it's still on the federal side illegal. So it's
Right.
somehow, some way they've got to figure this out between the governmental agencies. But it sounds to me like you might wipe out the entire underground, if you want to call them pathways from various countries, if you actually sanction the growing in government areas, and
Right.
and control it yourself. I don't know. I have no clue.
Well, it's kind of like the way that they're combating the fact that a lot of pot was grown on federal land.
Yes. Oh yeah.
That was a very big deal.
Yeah.
Here in the U.S.
Yeah.
That because they're generally not, I don't want to say regulated, but there's not as much oversight on the physical location
Sure.
as there are on the enforcement side.
Mm-hmm.
But frankly, you look at it, I don't see that there's that much difference between pot and lottery from the standpoint of every state wants their piece of it, and it'll go state by state by state. But the fact of the matter is, it's still really difficult. You can't really do business and run a business with a federally chartered bank because they won't accept it.
That's right. Yeah, I've seen that news story. Yes.
Speaking of news stories, there's a new Swiss airline called Edelweiss that has 2 flights a week from Zurich to Las Vegas nonstop.
Really?
Well,
You're serious? Edelweiss?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So it's
Edelweiss. Edelweiss.
Okay.
2 flights a week if you want to go nonstop. Zurich to Las Vegas.
Zurich to Las Vegas.
Vegas to Zurich.
So that's what, 15 hours, maybe?
More people coming in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there's no doubt about it.
There was an interesting story. There was an interesting story yesterday, Greg. I don't know if you saw it, but there's an airline, I want to say European, but I think it's more Mideast airline that is using those great big Airbus.
Oh yeah,
deals that,
yeah.
The one that looks like a whale. That's,
yeah.
2 floors.
Yeah, the monster
and
Airbus.
What they're doing is, and they're using those and they're reconfiguring them so that they've taken the upper level of it and have made the equivalent of staterooms.
Oh God.
The way that you would on a ship.
Uh-huh.
And they use these things for, Dubai to New York or Los Angeles or whatever. And these are literally rooms and suites on the plane. Like, one of them they were talking about, and I can't imagine, they didn't mention the cost of flying on it, but one of them was the equivalent size of a small 3-bedroom apartment.
What? Holy
Yeah.
smokes. That's,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll fly in my
Yeah,
apartment across,
obviously
across the ocean. Wow.
Yeah, obviously it's very expensive
Yeah.
to book them, but no more expensive than, let's say, taking a private plane and having the maintenance and all the other stuff that goes along with it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Hey, well, what I thought was very interesting, Charles and David, and of course Mike, is a story that I read. The Las Vegas Conviz, they're crying the blues, not because of lack of business, but it's so hard to believe. Lack of convention space. And apparently they're talking, Mike? They're talking about building 3 more convention halls in Las Vegas.
Yes.
You guys are going crazy
already.
Wow.
The MTM is just going crazy.
That's amazing. That is, that is mind-boggling. See, the broadcasters have had the NAB there for years, and you're drawing 100, maybe 120,000 people from around the world, and that now they're run out of space at that Las Vegas Convention Center. I find that really hard to believe, but apparently it's happening.
It's amazing, Greg, from the standpoint of it. I know Mike will tell you the same thing. They have built new space, and a lot of the hotels have massive space.
Oh yeah,
for conventions.
You bet.
And trade shows and stuff. So it's not like there's only a couple of convention locations.
Right.
There are dozens of them.
Yeah.
And Mandalay Bay, where Mike and I did a money show a couple of years ago, has a whole separate annex attached to it.
Wow.
Caesars, the old Hilton, they all have major size spaces. It used to be, like a ballroom for a wedding or an event or something.
Yeah, yeah.
These hotels have massive space to do trade shows and and conventions, and it's still not enough.
That's so hard to believe that you could have all this, and the other thing too, I think, is the full-time population, Mike, of Las Vegas. Now you're over 2.5 million, is that right?
Well, it's growing, and there's no question about that. And real estate prices are bulging. The population and the employment growth is growing, and of course our wages are increasing. So it is a good place to be right now.
Wow.
If you're looking for a job.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well,
in Nevada.
Yeah, just call your U.S. senator and he'll get you a job. Never mind. That's a terrible joke.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was surprised to see that story out of Conviz that they were crying the blues because they didn't have enough space. So what, like you talk about the new construction at MGM, when are they looking? Is it going to be 2015, 2016 for completion?
Yeah, 2016. They're building right behind the New York. If you remember where that is. It's right on Tropicana. They're building substantially, right, making a park.
Wow.
Bringing in palm trees and making a huge convention center.
That's amazing. That is truly amazing. Yeah. Well, it's it's weather-wise most of the time. Having done UNLV for 1 year, it is pretty nice most of the year. A bit on the breezy side, but outside of that, no complaints. I mean, it's a nice place to live. And I would imagine the cost of living, where is it? Is it on a par with like Phoenix and Tucson?
It's much lower than Phoenix.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
And MGM looks pretty good on the charts also. It looks like a stock that has risen from the depths of despair, almost going bankrupt, trading down to $1 several years ago, and now looking like it could break out in the mid-20s here. Didn't you have another very low-priced gaming stock, Mike, that you were looking at? Galaxy? Yeah, Galaxy Gaming. GLXZ. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a great speculation. I mean, obviously, they're all speculations, and you have to risk money that you can afford to lose. But GLXZ makes table games, excellent, new, innovative games. A lot of people like them, and they're waiting in line to sift them.
So now you're not talking
new types of games.
You're not talking cards. You're talking other types.
Table games, different kinds of table games.
Really? Okay, and it's called Galaxy.
Yeah, GLXZ is the symbol on Galaxy.
GLXZ. Huh, interesting. Now, is this web-based, or is this like real table?
It's the real McCoy.
Okay.
You sit down, you risk a few dollars, and you play the game.
Interesting. Wow, Galaxy.
I mean, you have to remember, Greg, that some of the biggest gaming companies that have operated machinery in the hotels now, for example, the slot machines, which are everywhere now.
Mm-hmm.
Even the states that don't allow gambling allow those type of things. They all started out as game companies.